DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. Pablo Mastroeni, RSL head coach, going to join us momentarily here. Ready for a weekend of football, PK?
No.
It starts tonight, Tulsa and Oklahoma State. Can you get into that?
Oklahoma State, see how bad they are.
You've given up on Oklahoma State.
Not yet.
Iowa, Rutgers. Oh, back to your Jersey roots, man. Rutgers is 3-0 playing at home. You ever go to a Rutgers game when you lived back there?
I did not.
Not even one.
I knew an extended family friend who played for Rutgers, and they came out to play Colorado, and Pablo would know about this. They came out to play Colorado, and he kept hearing about the altitude. He was on the kickoff team. He thought he was going to die when he ran on the kickoff team.
That's classic. DJ and PK, we're joined now by Pablo Mastroeni, RSL head coach. Pablo, good morning.
Good morning, guys.
Pablo, you got to bounce back, and I was amazed in the postgame. It felt to me like you were already in bounce-back mode, setting the tone for the team. There was a little lamenting of what happened in the 4-1 loss, but I was already feeling the turning of the page and I don't think this is a word, the upbeatedness. Was that your nature, or was that thinking, this is my job in this moment, this is what the team needs?
No, I think it's a little bit of both, right? I think looking at the game and the way we wanted to attack it, I think the guys executed it really well. I think it came down to a couple details, knowing that they're a team that wants to get out on the break, and so we just had to make better decisions in those moments. I think the frustrating part, again, where I'm saying like 95% of the game went the way we wanted it to go, and the 5% were two throw-ins in the first half where we didn't defend it the right way, which is, it's pretty rudimentary stuff, right? And you got to either clear the ball or foul in the middle midfield because, again, we're holding a high line against a team that thrives getting in behind the high line, right? And then you go back to the third and the fourth goal that we conceded, and those were individual decisions that led to breakaways. And those are those type of breakaways you see in like, youth soccer. You don't really see those at the professional level. And so, again, just we're right there. I feel like overall, I look at I felt the game on the field. I looked at the stats and, beating, getting all the metrics on our side, creating the chances that we did. And now you can eliminate those four opportunities in the game. And I feel like we would have won that game, but that's not what the game of soccer is. And so I was upbeat in the way we attacked the game. Obviously disappointed with the goals that we conceded because, again, I think going from 2-1 and we're still in the game to now 4-1, it looks like the score doesn't reflect the type of performance that we had. And so we had a great video session yesterday, and I think the upbeatedness is like you've got to be positive, you got to find the silver lining. But in this case, I think it was right in our face, and the areas that we need to improve in is right in our face as well.
With that in mind, then, the fact that you're literally playing the same team and you point out the mistakes and so forth, is that something that you're looking forward to be able to – you want to correct mistakes, obviously, all the time, but the fact that you're playing against the same team, it seems like you would have a little maybe, at least from a player perspective, a little extra juice, gusto to make sure you get it right this time.
Yeah. No, I think you're right, PK. I think, the idea is how quickly can we put these corrections in get them going in real time. And then, obviously having a game 4 days after the last one allows it to do that. And the other part too is like, LAFC is an aggressive team. They're going to be more aggressive at home, right? Both in the way they attack, but also in the way they battle for loose balls and duels. And I think, as a group, we got to be more physical in the way we approach things, and doing it in the right way. So I'm excited, because again, from the feeling that I have on the field is, the way we made some tactical adjustments at halftime, and the guys were able to put more pressure on LAFC's build, and from that created just a slew of opportunities. We tilted the field in our favor. So there's a lot of things that I'm really optimistic about moving forward. But we've got to make sure that we got to understand who we are. We're a team that plays with a really high line. The guys in the back have to be spot on 100% of the time. You cannot get it wrong once. And so we talked about the different decision-making processes that you have to go through in order to make sure that you're helping the team keep zeros, because again, I think it's unfair. At the end of the day, Rafa's been, the stalwart in goal and our leader in the group, and he, and the way he feels is like he conceded 4 goals, but the truth is we got to do a better job as a group in front of him to make sure we keep zeros against a really good team.
In an average game, teams tend to get 4, 5, 6 corners. You will see teams get 7, 8, or 9. You had 12. That is, that goes to how much you had the ball in the attacking third and how much they were under pressure. But your point about decisions, you were saying after the game, it could have been a 2-1 game if guys had just fouled. And they held you to 1 goal because when they got in trouble, they just kept giving up corners and they defended corners well. Can you earn that many corners on the road? Do you think it'll be a different style of game? And if so, what can you do to finish them?
Yeah, I think it's different when you go away from home. Yeah. I think you have to earn the right to get to that part of the field. But our mentality, like what I'm telling the guys, is we've got nothing to lose here. So if we don't go out with the same type of mentality, the same type of energy, then we're letting ourselves off the hook here. Like, this is not okay, And so that's what I want to see. That's what I'm optimistic about, is to be able to get pressure on them. And to, again, just give the group the belief and the confidence that, hey, I don't care what happens. We're going to try to do the same thing that we did at home, but we need everyone on board. We need to press, release our outside backs. We're going to be 1v1 at the top, but we have great center backs that can deal with that. And then if we do get in that position where we have multiple corner kicks, we're looking at obviously a short option. But again, I think what they have is a really good. Their 3 center backs are really robust in the air, and there were some really good chances. Again, I think the timing of our runs need to improve a little bit. But I think we'll look at some short options to try to throw them off a little bit. The only problem with short options is now you get like Luonga and Son coming out to deal with the short options. And if it's played short, now you're leaving a ton of space behind you. So it's a cat and mouse game. But we'll look at a couple things to try to, hopefully execute and create a goal-scoring opportunity from a set piece.
You used the word rudimentary, and then you said youth soccer, and that's sort of you could view that as, and I know you've been very positive here, but as damning in a sense. Was it just a lack of focus? What do you attribute that to those things having them happened?
Yeah, again, it's just this. For me, it's like when especially as a center back, right? You have to understand that, is this the moment to pass the ball, or is this the moment to try to put it over AFS field? Mm-hmm. Like, there's got to be a sense of danger. So in other words, what I'm saying about the reference to youth is you're playing the game because it's a game and you love to play the game, and I'm playing the tactics of the game because that's. But at the professional level, it's killed or be killed, right? You're either winning or you're losing. And so this moment is more than just a tactical application or a technical application. This moment is this moment defines the competitive nature of the sport. So if I am the last center back and I don't clear the ball well, then if I'm not aware that I need to boot this thing out because I got Son running at me or I have Luonga running at me, and I don't have a pass available, then I don't care what anyone says about my decision. I'm going to do the best for the team, right? And I think that's the more professional way to deal with these situations, as opposed to saying we have to play out of everything because we're a team that plays. And so just not understanding the enormity of that moment is what I'm referring to. Yeah. Is this just decision making, And I think those last 2 goals, it was almost like we were surprised by the fact that we were going to be man-to-man in the back, and then the decisions that we made thereafter led to 2 goals in the back of our net. And so there's a common rule in football, especially when you're a defender. It's you have to win the man, you have to win the ball, or you have to get the man. But you can't do neither. Like, in other words, you can't go into a tackle and let the ball get out of the play or the man get out of the play. And that's just fundamental professional football. Like, you got to make a foul, get your team behind the ball, or you got to win the ball clear. And so these are decisions that pros have to make in split seconds. It's not easy, right? So those are, again, we're talking about the finer aspects of the game and the level of experience you need to be able to make all those decisions in real time to help your team win.
A lot of coaches don't like to give away their starting 11, and I get that. And a lot of fans can figure it out. Everybody can figure out you're going to start Olatunji, except now you can't because he got the red card. So there's a lot of options there. And although you could tell us who you're going to start, that'd be great. But if you don't, the guys who are in consideration, kind of their strengths and weaknesses and what you're weighing. You know, if Agata comes in, that's kind of bring the guy off the bench you tend to bring in as a sub anyway, in a kind of a like-for-like situation. But you maybe change the formation. If you brought Diego in, you could play Diego Luna in the middle and just go with one striker up top. But is Cruz that guy? Does he have the nose for goal? What are you weighing there? There's probably a couple other options you could do too. What are you thinking? What are you balancing here?
Well, I think first, I think it's, going back to last game and what kind of gave us the ability to impose ourselves on the game with the ball. And I think that's having three guys on the front line that are always threatening their back line, right? So, again, when you're playing against five, what we're trying to always do is pull their five out. So whether it's our fullback being a little bit deeper so their wing back comes, and then Diego being a little bit deeper so their outside center back comes. Now we have three guys on the back line, which is 3 for 3 on the back line, which is advantage us, right? So I think, going up against this team, I think if we have a lot of players playing off that back line, we'll get a lot of east to west possession, but we'll never create the amount of chances that we created in this last game. So I think that's first and foremost is what are we trying to achieve? And then looking at our group and saying, who gives us that type of attack? Because, again, we played with 2 10s earlier in this year with 1-9, and we've done a lot of great ball possession stuff. We were toothless in front of goal, right? So I think that just explaining it like that, I think kind of lends itself to making sure that we have a minimum of 3 guys on the highest line that are willing to get threatening behind. Because when you do that, now Diego Luna has space in front of that back line to operate and do his thing. If Diego's one of those guys that's supposed to be on the front line and he peels off, now we have 2, and they're 3 against 2. They're experienced back line. They're a real formidable back line. We're not asking any questions, and it makes it really difficult to get in behind their block. So, like you said, we have a couple options on in terms of replacing Victor. I think Gozo's done a fantastic job. And Juan is another guy that I think does a little bit of both. He understands when to play between the lines, but he can also threaten the back line. And so we'll look at some things in the next couple of days, but more than likely, it'll look a lot like it was last game, which is where we have 3 guys threatening in the back line.
DJ was raving about that 18-year-old scoring that goal. Pretty excited about what he can do now and what is to come, I would imagine.
He's been awesome. Gozo's been steadily improving, working on his craft every day, and now he scores a goal like that. I mean, his confidence should be going through the roof. And obviously, all the little things he does for the group, against the ball has been tremendous. So again, he's leaving with the U20s after this game. I'm sure he's going to have a fantastic tournament. So he's living. Both him and Luna, year after year, doing some amazing things, and I think from a club perspective, it's just there's a lot of pride in these guys coming into the group and really it's growing their game and expressing themselves, and both have been not just good attacking players, but attacking players with a bit of swagger and sense of belief in themselves and how they're helping our team has been tremendous. So. I'm really optimistic about Gozo's future, and we're going to need him this game to come up with a play like he did the last game as well.
The other day I was out and I saw it must have been about a 10-year-old girl, and she had an RSL jersey, and I was actually riding my bike, and as I approached her, she was in the park, and she turned around and she had it was a Luna jersey, and she's about 10-year-old. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. That's awesome. I mean, I think, and that's how it is when we go away to games, PK. After games, it doesn't matter where we're at. There's a crowd of like 100 people waiting for Luna's autograph. So it's pretty amazing to kind of relive that side of the game. Obviously, I never had that type of following in my career. I wasn't fortunate enough, but to kind of go back to when I was a player and just imagine myself, being in Luna's shoes and now Gozo's shoes, it's a pretty special time to be these guys.
Last thing before I let you go. This is it's a fan thing, but then the more I thought about it, I thought this is a coach thing for Pablo too. So Gozo's throwing himself at that ball, which, and you always say you got to be brave, there's 3 defenders around him. There's a lot of stuff that could have happened, and he ended up scoring a great goal. I don't know if you've looked at Noel Caliscan's response. Did you notice that on film? I didn't notice it at first, and someone pointed it out to me.
Did he grab his head? I think
he puts 2 hands up to his head like, I did not just see that. No. I mean, it's like an internet meme. It actually reminds me of a really popular meme, and it could be one, except it's such a wide shot. I mean, he was clearly completely amazed in that moment. But the other thing I thought is, given where he plays, he's right in front of the goal. If that isn't hit with such authority and such power, and if it's saved, if it's parried away, he's there for the tap in. And you've been preaching, get guys forward. I thought that was an interesting place for him to suddenly pop up. You would expect him to be a little more upfield, but instead he's just a few yards in front of the goal.
Yeah, no, I think again, there's so many things from this game, and that in particular, pivots being in positions. I think he gets the ball from Ojeda, who's also in the box. And so, again, we're holding a really, really high line, and the guys in the back have a really tough task, but they're fully capable of achieving that, right? And I think, getting those guys in those positions to score goals, and that's what I really liked about this game, DJ, was, again, they present challenges with their block, but our ability to navigate and create pressure by putting players in the seams of their block to really ask them questions, and then having guys on the high line to be able to play down the sides of them, play through the back 3 was really, really good. And so, that's what I'm anticipating, is the same type of performance where we're able to impose ourselves on the game. Obviously, game to game, everything changes, but there's a lot to take away from that game, and in particular that goal, having so many players in and around the goal. I think there's 6 or 7 players in the box. And obviously that's going to stress your back line, and that's going to ask some real questions. But I believe we have a group that can overcome those challenges, and we're going to throw it all out at LAC on Sunday.
Pablo, thanks for the time. We appreciate it.
All right, guys. Thank you. Pablo
Mastroeni, RSL head coach, join us right here on The Zone. When we come back, everything you missed in this show next. Stay with us.
It's game week for the Cougars, and the KSL Sports Zone is getting you ready for kickoff. It's the first road trip of the year for the Cougars as they make the long flight east for a showdown against East Carolina. Listen all week long for the best coverage of Cougar football. Then catch a special early edition of College Football Saturday starting at 8 a.m. with a postgame show immediately following the game on KSLSports.com. Your home for the best coverage of BYU football is live on air, online, and on the KSL Sports app. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Slacker Radio Headlines brought to you by Trajan Wealth. Call Trajan Wealth today, your local trusted financial fiduciary, 801-899-7600, to visit the website at TrajanWealth.com. A lot of football today, PK. The Bear, Chris Felica, came on and said he expects a low-scoring game.
I think that would be a little bit of downer if that were the case, because these offenses have been hyped so much.
The over-under is 57.5 points. You just bet on the total number of points scored, and is it going to be higher or lower than that? Now, Utah's favored by 3.5, so that would essentially be 30-27. Utah wins by 3. That's close to the line, and that'd be 57 points. So I don't see Vegas sees it a low-scoring game, but I get Chris, a.k.a. the Bears' job is to say over-under, so he thinks lower scoring and under. Now, how far under? We had some fans doing predictions earlier, and we did 27-24, and you're like, I could live with that. Now, if it's 17-14, now you got something really low-scoring.
I think from the offensive perspective, that would be disappointing.
Yeah,
because these offenses have been humming.
I think that 57 number is it's kind of normal for college football.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
30 tends to be a winning number.
Yeah,
that's average. Fine. That's the ballpark.
Right, and that doesn't.
And that doesn't allow for special teams or defensive scores or short fields.
So that's two different things.
Right.
You got the offense versus the score. Sometimes they don't necessarily correlate.
They don't
completely.
line up. Right.
Yeah. So I I'm really intrigued to see these offenses go because they've been humming. Freaking Tech is averaging 600 yards a game. And I realize the opponent's there. I get it. But that's still an eye-popping number.
It is.
And the Utes, the Wyoming first quarter or first half, they sort of were their own worst enemies there. And I don't really freak out over that because
it's the psychology of it.
Yeah, you're not going to be at your premium, and I don't want them at their premium against Wyoming in the second game of the season or third game of the season anyway. Who cares? And so they slogged through it a little bit, and then they said, all right, enough is enough, and then they got it going.
And they were lights out.
Yeah.
4 possessions, 4 scores, done.
That's what's so cool about this game is I don't think it's a statement game, but it's 100% a barometer game. See where you're at. Because win or lose, whatever your goals are, the final score will not seal your goals, nor will it eliminate them.
Yeah. Well, it's game 4. It shouldn't, and it won't.
Well, it's game 1.
Game 1 from that perspective, yes, from the conference perspective.
And you only need to finish second.
BYU and East Carolina. Cougars are favored by 6.5. The over-under there is 49.5. So he tries to do math. Oh, this is always dangerous. 27-21. BYU wins by 6 points. That's close to the line of 6.5. And that's 48 points on an over-under of 49.5. So that's kind of what Vegas is thinking.
I would go more.
Go more what?
Points.
It won't be a 27.
Over then, I guess.
Okay. I didn't know if you meant so BYU wins by more or just a higher scoring game?
I'm going to go more. I'm just going more. That's all I'm doing. I'm going more.
BYU 27-21.
I want to go
PK
more.
picks more.
Yeah.
More of what?
Yeah.
More
I just
of
want
more.
more of it.
More of more.
Who doesn't want more of it? Money, health,
ice cream,
life.
See where I go?
Friends, salary,
golf,
aggravation,
birdies,
disappointment,
Eagles,
frustration,
joy,
hatred,
love. Okay, let's stop this game. That was pretty upbeat until we get to the Padres and Mets.
Diarrhea,
constipation.
The Padres and Mets. You made a big deal about the Padres wanting to play the Mets.
We didn't want to play
and
the
then
Cubs.
The Mets roll them.
Right. Win the division.
It's so irrelevant.
It is, but this is what I have to hang on to right now. And you're right. It gets completely trumped in 2 weeks.
I can recall when
I live in the now.
The Dodgers won the series in '88, I think it was. Mm-hmm. And I'm working down there, and I'm eyeball
This would be
deep.
the Oral Hershiser's lights out, and Kirk Gibson hits a dramatic homer.
And I think they played the Mets, and the Mets had beat him 11 out of 12.
Yeah, and then they won the NLCS in an epic.
It doesn't matter.
It's different because those regular season, you never know, especially in an era when starting pitching was really important. You never knew who pitched. Did you miss the star?
But
Did you get the
pitching
fifth?
is just as important as it's always been.
Right, but it's different because it's more pitchers.
But it doesn't matter.
But yeah, but guys still, they go out and one day they've got it and one day they don't. And so you just need them to have it 4 times in a best of 7
the one time I
series.
hit a 400 fly out up against the wall, and the next time I check swing and I get a double.
There is that.
Yeah. So what happens in the regular season? I mean, we only need to go back 2 years, and an 84-win team got to the
out of the
World
middle
Series.
of nowhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
Were they hot at the end of the year?
No, I told you.
They're ice cold.
They lost. They got swept in their last series.
Mm. And then
I don't remember who it was against.
Yeah.
And you'd have to double check that, but I'm almost positive. And then last year they win more games than the prior year, and they don't make the postseason.
I would like the Padres to show a little toughness and grind out some wins and just comebacks, and I'd like to know they got that in their bag, and they don't seem to have that. You know?
Well, then they'll be eliminated.
I know.
But then 3 years ago they eliminated the Dodgers.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Thoroughly enjoyed that.
And this is a proven playoff team.
Yeah.
They've been in the playoffs like 14 years in a row.
They have not been in 14 years in a row, but they do have quite a bit of experience over the last 5
They
years.
had like 4 Hall of Famers in their lineup.
4.
If not 5.
Manny.
Do I hear 6?
Tatis after the suspension.
Oh, what do you say? That's before.
He's a steroid guy now.
Not back then. His body type hasn't changed a lick.
Agreed.
Some of these guys came in, they were massive.
Yeah.
He's still a slender dude.
He is.
And his best days are ahead of him.
We did our NFL locks. We all picked against New York teams. I'll take the Giants to lose to the Chiefs, and you guys are taking the Jets to lose to the Bucs. Should I switch my picks, and then we can all go down together?
No.
Or all survive together? That's boring, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but even if you go down, there's still an opportunity. There's two ways to...
Right, 2 ways to win. We talked earlier. Well, we'll all keep making, and then who has the best record at the end of the year?
Yeah.
You could lose week 3 and be the first one out, and then go 17-1 over the 18 weeks. So
who has
who's
the
to say?
most locks, and then who was still picking the latest?
I've never done this before, but I've read about people
Survivor pools.
People who do it in survivor pools, and it doesn't feel to me like we've done anything yet because we're 2 weeks in, but it seems like when I read about these survivor pools, like so many people are out immediately. I mean, they're just gone in a couple weeks.
I've done it, but it's a long time ago.
Oh, really? How long did you get into how far did you get into the season before you made a mistake?
Oh, man. Halfway, maybe?
Yeah. That'd be cool if you can pull that off.
It was my sister, her school. She was an administrator.
Uh-huh.
And they had it.
Oh.
And then you can bring in anybody you wanted.
So you were the ringer.
Well, I wasn't. No, I had my own.
Oh, okay.
And I actually, I subbed for a couple of years. Because I went back and got my teaching certificate. And so I subbed at her school a lot. So you
knew people. You were kind of in the mix.
Yeah.
So the game we left out, we all commented that Packers-Browns looked pretty enticing, although ultimately we didn't choose it.
Oh, I think that's the ultimate lock.
That's the ultimate lock, but we're saving the Packers for later in the season.
Because it seems like the thing to do. And I don't know why.
But you're going with it.
Yeah.
I've played it in them twice, and to your point, DJ, I was out in week 5 the first time I played it. And I was going with the strategy of picking the favorites early and then kind of ran out of steam real quick. The other time I played, I did what me and PK have been doing here, kind of playing like different matchups and whatnot. I made it to week 8. So
you had you think this way is the strategy way to go?
Yes, at least from
that's what I think, and I'm not sure it's true.
I think the strategy way to go, I haven't put the time and energy into doing, which is to map out the whole season, pick all the games now. Because what happens in a week 5 is
Daniels ain't going to play this week, so Mariota's going to play.
Right.
Changes everything.
You get to week 5 and you start hitting teams on bye weeks, so you can't pick against the Saints or the Giants or the Jets because they're not playing, or you can't pick the Bills or Packers. No. So you can paint yourself into a corner after a while between the injuries, what are the matchups that week, and who have you already
We've
used?
only put in each $500 on this, so it's not that big of a deal.
Literally,
if it was like
nothing.
2,000, I would do that.
Except for a big old pile of pride and a lot of ego.
I put in 500. I don't know about you.
Where?
What do you mean where?
Where's the pot? Where did you put in the 500? I just want to see how far you can go with this lie. I don't really care. Just say something.
I
want
can
to see how
go as
creative
far
it is.
as I need to go.
You feel stalled
How many
right
times
now.
have I told you I've gone all the way?
That took a horrible turn.
You know what this reminds me of, though, as we're trying to strategize it out. I was involved with softball, and there was a 3-way tie. I've told you this story. And so we did a coin flip, right? And the guy he wins
he wins and he gets a bye.
Yeah, and he's jumping up and down, going crazy. And I said, "Wait a second. You only get one chance to advance. I get 2. Why
Because
do you think you won?"
2 of the 3 teams are going to advance, right?
Yeah.
Only one was going to be eliminated.
Right.
And
And he's going nuts. And I looked at him, and it bugged me that he was going nuts. Yeah. What are you going nuts for, you fool? So you play the winner, and then you got to win. Meanwhile, I got 2 chances.
Right. I play the first game, and if I win, I advance. And if I don't, I play you, and I get another chance to advance. So did you advance?
Yes.
Yeah. You win the first one?
I can't remember.
Oh, okay.
I think we did. Yeah. I think we did, because then it wasn't that pressure to worry about. But he was jumping up and down, and I'm thinking,
I kind of thought, all the way through.
And I'm strategizing here because it seems like the thing you're supposed to do.
As long as you don't take a huge risk along the way and blow it. And you haven't. You're 2-0. And you still got those teams to lean on. One of the problems with
Right,
holding on
one
to
was
those teams,
by a PAT missed, and the other was a stop inside the 20 under 2 minutes to go.
Right.
In a 5-point win.
yeah, sweating. Yeah. I was sweating the first week, but not the second. The second week was a 20-point game. That was a piece of cake. One thing you'll run into, though, if you save your good teams too long, at the end of the year, do they have to win? You know, when they're up and they've got a big cushion, maybe they don't even play guys the last week or the last 2 weeks.
We ain't getting to the last 2 weeks.
Well, you're going to have to pick, though, because we're still going to care about the standings. We're not going to be perfect at that point. I think we all understand that.
But I think I'd rather have my goal is to be the only one picking.
Well, and I don't blame
But we're
you.
all picking because we're doing the total.
Right, but
But to be the last one undefeated.
Last man standing.
Yes.
Last man standing. Even though you're not going to go 18-0. That'd be awesome if you
we'll
did.
That's
see.
the goal.
Yeah. Of course it's the goal.
It's a goal.
You think you're going to do it, Yak? If you do that and you waste it here where we're playing for free, that's really sad.
That would be really bad.
That'd be really sad, wouldn't
I
it?
should have signed up for it.
You should have signed up for something where there's a little loot. All right, anything else you want to talk about? Any predictions you want to make?
I've said it all. You know, when we get to
Okay.
10 o'clock on Friday,
You're spent?
I got nothing left. I go home and take a good 15-minute nap.
We got a couple questions up. We'll get to them in the feedback. Joel Klatt loves to say football fans, or loves to say death taxes and Utah football. So we put up football fans, finish this expression, death taxes and ... So we got some reaction to that coming up. And then who wins this week? The people are speaking. 50% of the vote, Texas Tech and BYU. 36% for Utah and BYU. 12% for Utah and East Carolina. And only 3% think it'll be Texas Tech and East Carolina. Both road teams walking out. Both of the both the local teams get beat.
Okay, I mean, it could happen. I wouldn't think that would be the lowest one. I agree.
It'd be the underdogs, right? Texas 3.5-point underdog, and East Carolina's a 6.5-point underdog.
Yeah.
All right, DJ and PK, we'll get to your feedback next. Stay with us. Make sure to tune in to Real Golf Radio with Bob Casper and Brian Taylor tomorrow from 6 to 8 a.m. Following Real Golf Radio, it's a 2-hour Ute tailgate special. College football Saturday from 8 to 10 a.m. as Alex Geary, Christian Esparza, and Alex Napoli's broadcast live from Roland Hall, 720 Guardsman Way. Come hang out and enjoy some food and some games. DJ and PK, it is time for your feedback. What do you think of all the stuff we've been talking about today? Football fans, finish this expression. Death, taxes, and... Seth, death, taxes, and Utah losing bowl games.
Ouch.
Death, taxes, and SEC teams are overrated, Derek says.
It's better to have lost the Rose Bowl than to not have played in the Rose Bowl.
Fact. Although, don't you think that's more true of the Ohio State game than the Penn State game? Had a lot more luster.
Yeah, I get it.
Better weather, first trip there, thrilling game down to the wire. Penn State ended at some point.
Well, it was
in
a
the
more
second
fun
half.
game. There's no
Yeah.
question about that. That's an obvious thing. But I think what you're eliminating is the conference title game, which brings you an immense amount of joy. I was there for both of them, and Ute fans were going berserko as they normally should. I didn't notice much of a difference between year one and year two. Maybe year one was a little more special. I understand that. If you went for 5 in a row, it would get a little old, possibly. But that never happens, and you may never play in that game again.
Winning a conference title is really hard. There's programs that are respected programs that are going on 10, 20, 30 years, depending on the team, since they won it.
I wouldn't know. The Sun Devils are, they're the defending champions.
The first one since 96.
Yeah, but even at that.
They shared some.
They did. They should, but I don't really count
Right.
that. I mean,
and that doesn't.
It's so funky, though. I have mixed feelings because you won one game. There's 4 teams that played 9 games, and you all had the same record, but you won the one game, and the other 2 teams didn't even get a chance to participate.
Okay, but they
It's
had the
not like,
head-to-head.
but it's not. It wasn't totally head-to-head. No,
It wasn't. The
Devils didn't play Iowa State. They didn't play each other.
yeah.
They didn't play Colorado.
Well, they played Iowa State, didn't they? Didn't they blow them out in the conference title game?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I have a hard time.
They didn't. Colorado, I get.
No,
they didn't play Colorado.
But in the old days, everybody played, and then that was
that
it.
was when it was the Pac-10 and everybody played each other 9. That
Right.
was the purest. You
here,
get to 12, and now you're not
kinda
playing the
jacked
same
up.
schedule.
And then you only
Yeah.
Kansas State was the Big 12
champion with a 6-3
that
record, and
that
TCU
didn't
with 9-0
that
wasn't.
bothers me.
That should bother everybody. That one's so clear cut.
And even when the
bizarro.
Devils won last year, great. Of course, I was rooting for them. But still, what did they do that the other 3 didn't do? I mean, I realized they had the head-to-head against BYU, but even at
and they
that,
ended up with a head-to-head against Iowa State.
I know, but you're missing the point. That was after the fact. It's not. It's based on one game, not 9 games. I still think that the regular season, the team that's on top, if there was last year, there's 4, I get it. But the team that's on top, like the TCU, in my mind, that year, 3 years ago, they were the Big 12 champs. But somehow it's jacked up, and they weren't. I have a problem with that.
Okay, so if it's the old days, then you'd have co-champions, which is a little funky.
Okay, I go old days then. Yeah, you would have
93
quad champions.
Yeah, I can't find a 4, but I find there's several years here where the Pac-12 had 3 teams. 2000, Washington, Oregon State were all 7-1.
I know, but at least they played against each other.
Yeah, they're not playing each other in the bigger leagues is an issue. There's no doubt about it.
And every league is a bigger league now.
Is.
Now, if you beat that team twice, like Utah beat Oregon twice,
You're the champ.
yeah, I got no problem with
Right.
that. That's a different story. When they did that, amen to them.
Didn't they win a tiebreaker to get in to play USC? I think they did.
Yeah, there was some
Yeah.
concocted 4 things need to happen, and all 4 of them happened. That was just fun because it was so wild.
Well, a few of them were going to happen. They need 4 things to happen. Okay, well, you control one of them, and Utah's playing Colorado, and Colorado wasn't good at that point. So that was a gimme.
And I think Washington was going to beat Washington State.
And that was another gimme.
But Oregon State beating Oregon.
State beating Oregon,
and
that's
their
why you
punter
didn't think it was going to
drops the
happen.
ball on the goal line, essentially. And the 1 year Cristobal was out. Well, that year Dillingham was out. The Devils literally had a plane waiting for him after that game. You're not going to be distracted?
Cool.
That would be, and he was going to take the job, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
That would be like, suppose their quarterback or their running back said, hey, I'm really into this game, but I want you to know I'm transferring to another school next year.
Well, we could get that depending on what they do with the transfer date in January. We're looking forward to that.
Yeah, but I'm talking a premier player,
Yeah.
not some guy who's not getting PT. We understand that. But nevertheless, the Utes capitalized. That wasn't their fault. And then they went and worked Oregon again.
It was almost identical. That was weird. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Same things going on. The second year, but yeah.
Death, taxes, and penalty flags, Travis says.
Penalty flags? Against whom? Just
He doesn't say.
random flags
Just, random
tossed in the
flags.
air?
Travis has seen too many plays wiped out by penalties.
I love it when the referee chucks it so vigorously. Like, I got this, man.
You can't get away with that.
Yeah.
Death taxes and ticket prices are increasing, Brian says.
Okay. That's for sure.
Yeah, right. It's not immediately obvious who he roots for. Just checked his
Lower
bio
ticket
there.
prices.
Yeah, okay, well. Death taxes and BYU hasn't played anyone yet. It's from Jeremy.
Okay, you're not alone there, Jeremy.
No, it's like we were talking about yesterday. That's the thing about having both Utah and BYU in the same power conference. When they're Mountain West together, they both have big non-conference games, so the start of the season was exciting because they'd be playing a big game. And then when the Utes went to the Pac-12 and BYU was independent, they played each other in the non-conference, and that was a big game.
Sure, but, I mean, they scheduled P4 opponents, and they weren't good, so you can't really dump on them for that.
Not only weren't good, we're genuinely bad.
Awful.
Yeah.
Although I think Stanford would beat UC Los Angeles.
Now that we've seen Stanford win a game. All right. But
I
still,
think
I look
the
at these.
defense is legit.
I look at these power rankings, 1 through 136 and all that, just to see who's played. And so the middle would be 68, and there's literally nobody, Texas Tech included. who's played anyone better than Team 70.
I understand.
So you're better, but you still had to be a gimme.
What would be wild if Stanford was really bad and they fired Reich?
Fire the interim coach?
Yes.
Doesn't seem to be any point to that, PK.
I know. A lot of stuff that I say is pointless, and a lot of sports is pointless.
We'll put this at the top of the list. Jake and Ben are coming up next. They'll make a point. Stay with us right here on The Zone.